It's strange stops and stories. The adventures of Ryan and Billy.
Those fingers in my hand.
What's happening?
Happening, Billy?
What are we doing?
Good.
Where are we going?
Well, listen. Conscience bear, it's witchcraft. See, look, I'm setting a mood. Well, Billy, put your mic on.
I have.
So today, we're going to meet Leonard Lowe,
Yeah?
the expert on the Scottish witch trials. Hence the music today. And don't worry, there's a music theme, but we can only play 15 seconds each song, so that's plenty of that.
So he specialises in...
The witch trials, the Scottish witch trials. Apparently it was big business back in the 1600s. Once we've done that, we will speak to Leonard, or Lenny, depending on how pally we get, about if he was to pick one destination for any sort of witchcraft trial enthusiast to go, where would it be? So, and then we'll go there.
Perfect.
I mean, it's all exciting stuff. How you feeling?
I'm feeling absolutely sexual.
That's a big word.
It is.
Parents watch this.
No,
Nah, they fucking didn't. And if you are under the age of 16, didn't watch.
aye, didn't watch.
Didn't watch. I mean,
It's not for you.
There's nothing offensive or blue, but there is a lot of swear words.
Yep.
But aye, so is there anything you're hoping to find out about the Scottish witchcraft trials?
I want to see if there's any instruments, any things they use to torture people, and I want to see if he's got any of that in his museum. I want to hear some maybe his own history or why he got involved with this a wee bit.
I mean, it's exciting. For me, I would like to, because it's not something that's spoke about,
Nah.
the old witchcraft. So you hear about it in England and stuff, and the Americans, but
I think Hocus Pocus is the furthest I've been.
Aye, well, I studied the Crucible at the school.
Aye.
Arthur Miller, there you go.
There you go. A wee bit of dropping knowledge.
Dropping knowledge, Arthur Miller's The Crucible. I was John Proctor once in a production. The Crucible, that's just the way you laughed at. I could do productions of The Crucible. I'm a very skilled and depth actor, I've got range.
I've got range.
I have got range. So we'll go and we'll speak to Leonard, and I want to ken, was it big business in Scotland, was it no? Is it maybe an English thing, or what's the scope? So let's go and visit Leonard, or Lenny. Hopefully we become pals with him and we can call him Lenny.
Here, what I do first of all is I get you to read these two boards here. You read these two boards, this puts you into the mood of what the whole museum is about, and then from here onwards, after you've read these boards, I come with you. I come with you here. The date we stick on, the date that's really important here is 1563. 1563, of course, is when Mary Queen of Scots brought through her Witchcraft Act into being, into law in Scotland. So we try and talk what was it like before 1563, and of course we talk about the first laws against magic and witchcraft, and they go right back to Kenneth MacAlpin, the very first King of Scots. And peculiarly enough, the first laws against magic was outlawing jugglers.
Dangerous. Dangerous. It's like that old joke, how do you kill a circus? Go for the juggler.
But the jugglers were in Kenneth MacAlpin's land. He didn't like jugglers. He outlawed jugglers, and it was all to do with magic. And you can imagine entertainment back in these days, bring on the jugglers, now bring on the jugglers. Like you see any juggler, they start off being clever, and then they get all fancy. But in a king's eyes back then, are they using magic? They're using magic. And oh no, can't do that in front of a king.
A court jester wasn't a...
Oh no, well...
wasn't a safe job?
No, wasn't it? No, well, it's the juggling side of it. You get jugglers, but then you get really clever jugglers. So you've seen them all with chainsaws and bloody everything. But back then, they got too fancy, and the king didn't know, is that a skill or is it used magic? So he outlawed it. And so there you have it. And from him and all the Bruces, all the Duncans, all the Alexanders, they strengthened the laws against magic and witchcraft until you get this date here of Mary Queen of Scots, who goes overboard. And with this, the witch trials become very rapid in Scotland. And of course, feeding from her comes her son James VI, who escalates it even further. So that's what this whole museum's about. We've got this book here. If you see, this is George Mackenzie. That's his photograph up there. You might know George Mackenzie for he's more famous now for a haunted tomb in Edinburgh, the Mackenzie Poltergeist.
Oh yeah.
This is him. Now he, although he's got a very active graveyard in Edinburgh, he was a witch sympathiser, and is really a classic example of a lawyer seeing the law and not agreeing with it. And but he died before he could actually bring through his changes. But his likewise peers worked on his behalf, and it's really his input got the witch hunts stopped way back in 1736. He was the first of a few to just frown upon what we're doing was absolutely wrong. And so we've got a lot to thank. But that's his book there. That's his Scottish law book from 1684. And that's open on the pages of witchcraft and what you could be arrested for in Scotland to do with witchcraft. You could be arrested because you look like a witch. Explain that one.
So people could, because that's like you see it in the films and stuff, like these poor women were somebody just took a dislike to them and went.
Women and men. In this country, the balance is like 85%, 84%, something like that. But there may be women victims getting identified as witches. But what you've got to look at in a bigger perspective is who's identifying them, who's accusing them, and you find it is women accusing women, and this is the nonsense of it. You've got to watch this. We get loads of groups nowadays coming out. They love that word misogyny, and they love trying to tie it in with witch trials. But you're falling into a trap if you're doing that, because I'm a judge. I can only judge what's put in front of me, and if it's women getting put in front of me, dobbed in by other women, with an act that's brought in by a woman, Mary Queen of Scots, then where's the misogyny there? You understand? And this is how it gets very confusing. Now, some of the items I have here are from the witch trials. This is the Devil's Forks. We've got 2 sets of them here. We have great fun with this because I can actually use this on people. This is a very dramatised drawing of what it actually did. The way of confessing a witch, mainly in Scotland, was sleep deprivation. And you think to yourself, how many days could you go without sleep? 3, maybe 4, maybe a push.
I can't go one with it. And I would confess pretty quick if it.
Well, what we'd do is it's called walking a witch. We'd get you in with a rope round your head and walk you around the jail cell, round and round and round all day long. But we'd be barking questions at you. You see, this would go on you. Chin back. See, I can't even. There we go. You get the gist for this. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not even fastened. If I fastened it, there'd be blood everywhere.
All right, let's not do that.
but you get the gist. To keep you awake, and then the next day I come back to you again. We do it all again, and we do it again and again until you finally break down and tell me what I want to hear.
I would break down pretty quick.
Well, how about this? This woman here, Margaret Thompson, from Mid Calder, 1644, 20 days, no sleep. That's impressive.
Some sort of psychosis.
Should be on her last legs for sure. Here we got traditional torture tools used on witches, thumbscrews. We know the Wormiston Crail witches, they had thumbscrews used on them, and it was said it's just as well you're taking them to burn because no capacity could they ever work again using their fingers. They'd been crushed to bits. The real horror of these is that somebody's carved little pretty flowers on them. Who's that for? They go, well that's pretty. Just nonsense. You see the wee pretty flowers. It's just, and they've been heavily used as well. We've got this device here.
So everything, all of these devices have been used at some point or another?
Yep. This thing here is a judge would say to you, you're found guilty of witchcraft, you'll be taken to the stake where you will be witted and then burnt to ashes. Witted's Old Scots for strangle. So this is a kind of a thing they do for you before the burning, but not always. Sometimes it goes down the records as burnt quick, which means they never got the chance to do this, and they actually burnt you alive. Not very nice at all. But this would be put on your bill at the end of the day. You get a hefty bill, and this guy's bill would be added to that as well. Bill for the fuel, bill for the costs, bill for the courts, bill for the guy that's strangling you. You're going to pay to be strangled. Now this is an amazing one. We've got a signature here, George Maxwell of Pollock, in that bottom corner there. This is him here. George Maxwell was killed by witchcraft in 1677. He was over in Paisley. He took ill. It was seen that a beggar girl had and her pals had put witchcraft upon him, and he was a top lawyer, you see, a top judge, a top lawyer, and he took ill and he died. Now I got this manuscript here because he signed it, and we. I thought it'd be great for the museum, so I bid for it. I won this thing. Now, what this is, this manuscript, it's all in Latin, but Charles II had 5 bastard children, and one of them was a guy called Charles Lennox. The youngest one was a guy called Charles Lennox. So Charles Lennox goes to his dad and goes, Daddy, I know you've given me the Duke of Richmond title, but I don't seem to have a Scottish one. It's very unfair. So he went, all right, let's see what we can do. So he flicks through his list and goes, how would you like to be Duke of Lennox? And he goes, oh, that'd be lovely. Oh, yes, that would be... So this is it. This is him getting the title, the Duke of Lennox, and it's signed by all the top lawyers of Scotland. And of course, George Maxwell of Pollock is there. So this is very rare. Now, this Charles Lennox fellow, he's the reason at the end of the news we get this bloody thing with English cricket. Scotland BBC, at the end of the news you get this 5 minutes bollocks of English cricket. Well, it's because of him. He supported the English cricket, Sussex cricket team, and he put them on the map and made cricket a gentleman's game, and so that's the guy you've got to shout at for us getting cricket at the end of the news.
Which is enough to be bumped at the stage.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. And this thing here, if you film that up there, this is Bargarran House. Bargarran House was a home to the Shaws in Paisley for over 300 years. Nothing exists of it now. I think it's part of Asda car park, but then it's all gone. But the Shaws were an enormous family. They were actually the judges on this guy's case when he was dead, and they're prosecuting the 5 they found as witches. So the Shaws were big fellows, but they owned this house here, and this is where they had a terrible witch hunt in 1697, and it was his daughter, Christian Shaw. Christian Shaw, if you could just picture a scene out of The Exorcist when they're in the bed thrashing about, that was her, except she's coughing up pins and needles coming out her mouth, dung and all kinds of shite. It's all coming out her mouth, and she's seen as bewitched. She blames one of the servants in the house, and it ends up being 7 servants, and they all go to their deaths because of it. This down here, this is a massive document I picked up in America. This is the deeds to this place from 1657. Now we've got it's 14 foot long, and it goes on forever. It mentions all the farms, all the wee places they're renting out, crofts and everything. They've even got boats in Largs Harbour, but it's signed every foot of the way. Signed by John Shaw, that's the grandfather. Now he ends up murdered. He ends up murdered about 10 years later after writing this. John Shaw's his son. He's the one that was the father of the girl, Christian Shaw, that has this bewitchment. And we've got Brisbane. Brisbane's a doctor. He's the doctor that witnesses pins and needles coming out her mouth and documents it, brings in the parish, and we end up with a massive witch trial with 7 getting killed. But Brisbane's an interesting one. The Dr. Brisbane, if we were to go 100 years fast forward from 1697, we come across his grandson. His grandson will be working in Australia, and he's running a prison colony. And they'll take his name, Brisbane. That's him. Now, you've heard of Salem.
Yes.
Heard of the Salem witches. Well,
The Crucible and such.
yeah, The Crucible and Hocus Pocus and 100 other films. The Americans successfully turned witches into Salem into witchy Disneyland. This tree here, this great big elm you see in the picture, this was planted in 1670. It grew enormous, but the Americans, underneath the branches of that tree, this is where they plotted against us, the British, to rebel and to fight us and to get their independence. And this is what they did. Underneath the branches of this tree comes the Boston Tea Party. Got on their ships, threw all the stuff off the ships, started a war. They'd be losing the war, and then the French would join in their side. They'd end up winning their independence. But this is a very much loved tree. Now, it came down in 1876, but and when it did come down, they carved a chair out of the wood, and they carved a 2 or 3 wee books. I've got one there. That's from the wood of the tree here. But this tree had a secondary purpose. It was also the hanging tree, and this is the tree where they hung Indian chiefs, they hung pirates, they hung the Salem witches on the branches of this tree, and I've got a piece of it there. So that's quite a piece to have. We've also got a letter here from one of the justices of Salem, and that's Stephen Saywell. He was the town clerk. That would be him there, writing away. There's chaos is happening around about him with all the Salem business going on there. And we've got an original flyer here to do with the witch hunts of Salem. But these are the kind of things we have. Behind here, this is a horror show here. We have, this is a witch pricker. Witch pricker, and the scissors used to shear you before the witch pricker got on you here. Now, this came from Pitt and Weem. I wrote about the Pitt and Weem witches in the Weem Witch. This is where I get my fame from. My book's just been reprinted for the 6th time, and this is good. We had a terrible witch hunt along here in Pitt and Weem in 1704. It was the fifth of the witch hunts they had there, and we had a group of people fingered out as witches, and they brought forth a witch pricker to have a go at them with this. Now, I wrote my book in 2004, and it was a hit in the shops, but this man got in touch with me that I'm the Baron of Pitt and Weem, the Baron. And I went, I didn't even know there was one. So he lives in the monastery. And so he asked, I want to meet you. So I came up from London to meet this guy. He was 95, fascinating guy, South African guy. And he's the Baron of Pitt and Weem. So anyway, I had a day with him, and when I left, he gave me a cigar box. In the cigar box was this. That's the very scissors, and that's the witch pricker used on the Pitt and Weem witches. And these are the 2 of the first items I ever had with, when
So
I did.
this is where it started.
Yeah, this is where it started. The 2 of the first. I used to lecture with my books everywhere, really, but universities and schools and halls. And it was good to have a table where I could put something from the witch hunts on the table they could actually see. And this got me started. So I started checking out antique markets, and especially America. And I struck gold on a place there. And a lot of this stuff has come from America. A lot of the documents have come from America.
So it went across to America and you brought it home?
Well, that's it, yeah, I have. That's the basis of it. A lot of this has come from America. It's Scottish, but I've brought it home at great expense. Here we've got the clock tower of Pitt and Weem. This is where the witches were kept. I had this building for about 17 years, but this is the building, the clock tower there, where they were prosecuted in 1704-5. Now, here we have it again. There's the clock tower there, carved into this thing. In the clock tower, we had a woman who escaped, Janet Cornfoot. Janet Cornfoot was 36. She's from Largo. She had 5 kids. She was pulled into this witch trial, and she escaped. She escapes out the 2nd floor window and gets away into the wastes of Pitt, with the waste of a cold Fife winter in January 1705. Now she gets caught at Lookers. She gets 14 miles away before she gets caught, and she gets brought back. When she gets brought back, the town of Pickmeem's raging. Here's the raging people, and they attack poor Janet. They attack her. They grab her by the ankles, put a rope to her, pull her through the streets. They pull her through the streets down to the sea, down to the harbour, and they've got a ship there in the harbour. In the harbour, they attach her from her ankles, and here we have her up there. In that drawing, she's getting duked into the sea. Now, this is mob violence. There's hundreds of people there. She's hanging from the ship mast. They're throwing sticks and stones at her. This carries on for 4 hours. 4 hours later, the tide has gone out. So when the tide's gone out, they swing her onto the sands. Now somebody breaks a door from one of the houses, brings it down, thrusts the door across her, and all the locals grab stones and they pile up these stones on top of Janet and crush her to death. Now, Janet's the last witch killed in the whole of Fife. Now, behind me, this is interesting, behind me here is a map. Now, if you see me here, we can identify in Fife, here's Leven, we're here, right here. We can identify in here, in Fife, 335 witches named in Fife that we can identify. And here's Crail. This is Wormiston Castle, like I showed you the photograph there. Wormiston Castle. Here we come to Pickmeem. Here we've got Blue for 10, Yellow for 1. St Monans, Largo. Here we've got Weems. We've got Kirkcaldy and Dysart. What's going on here? Oh, Jesus. And we go around the coastline, Kirkcaldy and Inverkeithing, and there's Couris there. Now, 335 witches in 173 years of witch persecution. It's your history, and it's horrific. What's your second name?
Smart.
Smart. Oh, watch this. Oh, looks like the Smart's got away with it. But what did you say? Kirk?
Kirk.
Oh, didn't no bother. I've definitely got Kirks.
Mine's is Underwood.
Hang on.
That's got to be so.
I know I've got at least 3 Kirks. Here we go. Kirk. Here's the Kirk witches. Are you listening? We had an Agnes Kirk from Dunfermline killed in 1643. We had a George Kirk killed in Perthshire, 1613. I had a James Kirk in Alloa. I had a Joan, that could be a John, it could be a Joan, I don't know. Kirk killed in Perthshire, 1613. There's 4 of them. This museum, and what you've been seeing as I walked around, is your history. And I've just demonstrated that.
So, what's your thoughts on Leonard? I didn't care if we quite got Delaney. I think I might have tried. Did I? Nah, I didn't think I did.
I think you did.
Did I get a wee Lenny in?
There was a wee Lenny there. There was a nice wee bit of smiles, and you had a bit of banter here and there. I think you enjoyed it.
I want to be his pal.
You do. This was right up your street.
Oh, that was well interesting. Let's take a minute and talk about these numbers. Like thousands of men and women, or women and men, like are killed because the Church of Scotland wanted money. And you look like a witch. That's some heavy shit.
That is when you think about it, isn't it?
Like a genocide. That's kind of like, you didn't think about it, but he said that. Like, there's that. This genocide happened in Scotland because apparently the Church of Scotland wanted to make money, and folk just didn't like folk, and it was easy to accuse somebody of witchcraft.
And I got to see some of the torture implements. Well, no, it's not necessarily torture, but there was the neck thing that they put on you to stay awake.
Like I said, I got to see more than just them. I got to feel it. That was and I hate folk touch my neck. There are genuinely two people on the planet that I allow to touch my neck because it freaks me out. And there are other people who watch this and go, oh, I get that. Touch my neck freaks me out.
Mine's is my ears for some reason.
Your ears?
I do like people touching my ear. Like, can the worst thing is coming to give that wet willy and that type of thing, coming and then they fucking. That's the fucking worst for me. Get that shit to fuck. Ban that.
Ban that. Kind of who's talking about all the torture for the witches. That's what they're. I'm a witch! Just didn't put that in my fucking ear! But no, it's the numbers and like talking about that bit about the guy that the David Attenborough of his day
Aye.
coming along the coast at 120 or something, did he? 128.
I'll clip it to that bit now.
Right, clip it now.
I'll clip it.
But this man here, look at this guy here. I've not even touched the sides with this. This is what's wrong with this country. There's so much of our witch trials missing. There's so much that's unrecorded. There's so much that's destroyed. Our keeping of records was in such a poor condition, damp conditions, rodent mice and rats eating our bloody records. And this man here, John Ray, this fellow here, 1661 August, this man... David Attenborough, this is who he is. He's a I want to be a naturalist. So he comes up here, he's drawn pictures of fish and birds, and he's walking around the Fife coast in August. Now he's going around the Fife coast in August, here he goes round here, having a great time, drawing his fish, drawing his birds, camping on the beach, having a great time. But he mentions in that wee period, that 1 month of August, he's just walked past 120 witches burning on the beaches of Fife. In August. That's a third of what I've got on this map in 173 years. He just saw in a month. This guy here, of the witches along this coastline here, and in August we can identify 28 witches in the whole of Scotland that got killed. We had commissions sent out for them. 28 witches. Of the 28, only 3 of his 120 we can identify. That's how much of our history is missing. You understand that? In a month, 120 witches where I could identify 3. If we were going to the true facts and figures, I wouldn't have a map left. It would just be flags. That's how much of our history is missing.
That's absolutely crazy.
Of course it is.
Mental.
We killed witches in the scale that the Germans did. That's the fact. But we never wrote it down, or the records are destroyed. You go to some church, I mean, the churches are a lowest form of court. And this is where you've got to go if you want to identify and get some information on what was going on. You know there was a witch killed in that year, so go there, scroll down the records, and you get to it. And it just says, some witches killed today. Some. More than one, could be like Aberdeen, 70 at one stage. It's frightening. And this is what I'm trying to do with this museum, is preserve these names the best way I can and add to them when I find them. There's still a lot out there to find, you see. And that's what I'm trying to do. My next book will be another glossary of all the witch names gathered in Scotland. And this will be my next book when I get round to it.
Quite a noble cause you've got, to be fair. Try to, like...
It's our history. You know, this happened here. This happened here. You can be as horrified as you like, but this is all hidden behind the church's godliness, you could call it. The reason why this is now becoming popular is because the churches have failed right along this coast. All the churches are closing. There's nothing left. And this is where these records are out there for folk to see, and there's nobody to stop you from seeing it.
Back in the room, so... Like, that's crazy. And the fact, I think he's, like, what he's doing, I think I said it there, I think it's quite noble what he's doing. He's trying to preserve this forgotten bit of history and try to bring it back to life. He didn't realise that all these people died for fucking no reason whatsoever. Poor innocent fucking men and women just fucking killed because somebody thought they were a witch or looked witchy. Here's his book.
Yeah. And Leonard, well, I'm not allowed to call him Lenny yet. I'm not there like Ryan is, but...
Oh, he's not invited to Christmas.
I'm not on his list yet. But he gave us a nice wee signature as well. So keep that in the Strange Stops and Stories vault of all the people that we go and visit.
I'm actually excited to read his book. My wife likes things like that. She'll be writing.
I got some brownie points for my wife back in the day when I done the audio for Ian Rankin's interview, and he was handing some books out, and I got him to sign a book for me. So she's got a signed book of his latest book. He's just this was maybe a year ago, so maybe he's got one since then. I doubt it, but so that's nice that Leonard signed it for us, and not signed it for Ryan. But it was mainly me. It was mainly you, aye.
Me and Lenny.
I felt it.
I'm going to go with Lenny.
Go with Lenny.
I'm going to go with Lenny. He might watch this and I might get a strongly worded email going, it's fucking Leonard, right? Or Mr. Low.
It's Mr. Low.
And it's Mr. fucking Low to you. Until I'm told otherwise, let's go with Lenny.
But see, when I go and see these, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this is because I like, doesn't matter what it is, obviously I like strange and kind of witchcraft and UFOs and all that type of thing and ghosts, but I just like to hear folks' passion. Like, see if they're just super passionate about a subject and you could just like feel it for them and you just listen to it. I could listen to people all day.
See, I agree with you. It's so nice when you see somebody that kens their shit.
Aye, definitely.
And you're like, oh, aye, definitely, you fucking ken your shit.
Aye.
But I think, for me, I just love learning new stuff,
Aye.
Like, oh, I love learning things that I never knew before. But, oh, that's great. We're on the way to Pittenweem at Leonard's advisement, just based on his first book, The Weems Witch, and what happened to her there. Insert clip here.
The Weem Witch.
Oh, that was a good clip that we inserted. You alright?
Aye. Just about to fuck myself.
Right, so we're in Pittenweem. But we need to find Pittenweem. Oh, historic church, it's there, bastard, missed it. Move, you fucking idiot. What are you driving like that for?
I think he was
No, but he could get going. There are fucking places to go, I'm fucking about like some sort of dickhead. Or vlog.
But you've got very good knowledge of a ton of things, but mine's is like, who was the Connect 4 champion in 1994?
Who was the Connect 4? No, you're Roos. You can't go, it was me. I bet my dad. Like, if you're going to, you've got to sprout knowledge that's, that like the worldwide Connect 4 champion. So who you worried about?
Fuck me, Ryan.
I've got my licence.
When? Did you get on the fucking Daily Mirror and fucking the back of the fucking competition?
There was fuck all rag there, I was safe.
It's the last minute, like you didn't ken, right? But everything's last minute with this guy when he fucking drives.
What is it?
He'll go up someday 60 mile an hour and then he'll fucking brake last second.
I do not. He's talking fucking rubbish. Oof. You keep going, I'll fucking get Lenny to do the rest. No, you can't even.
That's the church.
I'll do the driving. You do the editing. Right?
Why did he say that like you're threatening me?
Guys, I just
Listen,
like, we need to clearly clear our roads.
I'll do the driving.
And I'm in charge of driving.
You do the filming.
That there, boys and girls, in front of us, is the church where the witches were kept. In that tower. That's quite scary, It's actually quite quaint, picturesque.
Is it? I love the window, the middle window there.
That's where the women jumped out,
I would have.
Hear that? And here we are, outside Pittenweem Church, where my pal Lenny told us to come and visit. And this was the site of the Weems Witches, which he's going to buy his book about, find out a bit more. This is where he said the women escaped for the second floor window, so we're assuming it's this one or the one round the front there. And he's told us that if we go to the graveyard, there's actual witches buried here. So if you want to come and see, pay your respects, then let's go in, let's go and have a look. So, here we are in the kirkyard of the graveyard, Pittenweem Church, and here are the Horsburgh graves that Leonard talked to us about. Now, we can't see them, obviously this has been worn away over time, but here is where one of these guys were one of the witches that were killed, and one of them, as Leonard says, we'll cut to Leonard because it's his story, no mine.
The Horsburgh family. What you're looking at is a grave of a witch. Okay, that's she survived. She survived the trial. This Horsburgh girl. She lost her mother way back in 1644, but it's going to cook all night. But she was one of the 1704 witches, and she survived the trial, and she turned it round on the Petmeem and sued them afterwards, and she won her case. But we don't know how much money. But she's got a grave right there. That's the grave of a witch.
But yeah, so she sued and she won money. And this was and Leonard told us if you go down this hill here, the big white house on your left hand side as you go down is where they lived. So here are the earthly remains of the Horsburghs. So if you want to learn more about them and the Petmeem witch trials, buy Leonard's book, go along and see him at the museum, and that's us for today, boys and girls. Your lesson is over. That's a bit dramatic.
Hello, this is my first book that came out 20 odd years ago now, The Ween Witch. I had in my possession the records from Petmeem Church, and just reading away one night I came across the horrors of the Petmeem witches written first hand from people that were there, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I went to other books and pieced together a vicious, horrible story of a mad, insane minister in Petmeem in 1704 who's trying to kill his own citizens, have them arrested as witches, and with this, if you can process these people, it's just amazing that he found the 9 richest people of Petmeem to accuse as witches, and if he'd processed them and had them killed, you'd have a very rich minister. And this is this horror story I have here, I've written together, The Ween Witch. Also covers the other 4 witch trials that were in Petmeem, but this is what I'm known for. Since I wrote this, I've been in the television dozens of times, radio, podcast, God knows, I've been in loads, but this is the book that kicked it all off, so that was great. I followed that up with St Andrews Untold Stories, and that's a book about St Andrews again. In St Andrews now, they do tours in St Andrews on my book. There's a guy holding my book and he takes you around St Andrews, showing you all the places in here, which is great, I think. We've got lots of interesting stuff here. Al Capone the gangster, he was going to move to St Andrews before he got caught, and the tax man got him.
Thank you very much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No bother.
It's been amazing speaking to you, and thank you so much.
Good man, yeah, lovely.
Go.
Ryan's got the wheel. Billy's riding shotgun, cruising through the back roads, chasing down the unknown fun. They got a map full of myths, a playlist that slaps, stopping where the world leaves curious gaps. From Nessie's home in the Scottish Loch to ghost towns where the clocks don't talk, they roll up slow, cameras in hand, telling tales too weird to understand. It's strange stops and stories hit that play, winding through wonders in a wild kind of way. Haunted houses, cursed old trees, history secrets on the midnight breeze. Yeah, Ryan and Billy chasing the thrill down roads where the world stands.